One of the things that women over 40 say to me all the time is, I think my libido just disappeared. They assume it's hormones or it's aging or maybe something's wrong with their relationship. But in most cases, that's not what's actually happening. In fact, many intelligent and capable women lose their connection to desire for a completely different reason. And it's something almost no one talks about. And P.S., once you see it, you can't unsee it. So today we're unpacking what's actually shutting female desire down and how women begin reconnecting with their turn on again. So, Barbara, we hear all the time women over 40 inside the Central Sisterhood or out in the world saying, I just don't feel turned on anymore. I'm not that interested in sex. I feel like I lost my desire, et cetera, et cetera. From your perspective, what do you think is actually going on there?
Okay. Here's what I'm going to say right now. And if everyone's listen really carefully, women do not lose their libido, they lose interest in unfulfilling sex because the sex they were having wasn't actually that good. It wasn't quality sex. Um, for decades, we've been socialized to prioritize male pleasure. I attest to that. For years, until my early 30s, I thought if I made him come, I did a great job and that's pleasure, which totally denies the clitoris and the 10,000 nerve endings that the woman has. And none of that gets stimulated because it was not quality. It was just like getting his D wet so that he could orgasm. And I'm left completely not taken care of because anybody that knows anything about sexuality understands that men have a 20-minute head start
Mhm.
on a woman in terms of orgasm. And that's something that we can cover in another episode. But like a woman who is actually really turned on, she needs at least 20 minutes to catch up with the dude. So it's like if you're having sex right now or haven't had sex, but all of your sex was less than 20 minutes, of course you don't like sex. We perform instead of feel what's
Yeah.
happening in our bodies. We're just because we're disconnected from our bodies. By 40, the body simply says, if this isn't nourishing, I'm not into it. I'm not doing it. And this isn't dysfunction, it's actually wisdom because the libido doesn't disappear. Tolerance for mediocre sex does. Chronic stress kills turn on.
Yeah. Yeah, like that's a big part of what I was thinking. I mean, I totally agree with what you're saying about the quality of sex and how that affects your desire to have it. Absolutely. We should do a whole episode on that. And we started to in the episode with Sean. But I think the other thing that like once you see it, you can't unsee is how much emotional labor, how much responsibility women take, the mental load of being the mom, the wife, the professional, whatever is your situation, right? Like, so it starts to become sex starts to feel like another task on the to-do list. And if it's not a really exciting task that's about my pleasure and my nervous system, feeling good and my body feeling good, like of course it's going to fall off, right? Who has time for that nonsense?
Well, that was the point. So when you've never known quality sex
Yeah.
and you don't know quality sex and you've never had it, it
Yeah.
becomes another thing to do to satisfy someone else. And that is just adds to the exhaustion of the chronic stress. Like after
Yeah.
everything I have to do, now I have to make sure my partner is pleasured.
Yeah.
Like when I'm not getting
Sure.
anything. So it's
Yeah.
just like another thing to add on to the plate because the female nervous system is highly sensitive to stress. I had this happen to me right now. I'm like in the middle of a move, which is like one of the biggest stressors in life. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm not turned on. I'm like, I work on my turn on daily. And it's because there's so many things that I'm thinking about. And like, that keeps me in my head. And it's like, this package is coming. This needs to be returned. This needs this.
Yeah.
Air conditioning is not working. I'm in 90-degree weather. And there's no time or room. And I make sure I have quality sex. So all I want to do is get there, but I can't get there because I got so much on my plate. And if a woman doesn't even have the distinction of quality sex, she's not even going to go there. And then she's going to make herself wrong for her libido because that's
Yeah.
how we're socialized. It's like women in midlife, like, I don't even want to say midlife, women 40 or older, they're exhausted. Like their careers are so demanding, right? We're working like 24 hours a day with the cell phones, the internet, the caregiving for kids or aging parents. I mean, we know what the parent situation is like, and you know what the kid situation is like.
Ew.
Um, Emotional labor in relationships, and
Yeah.
also financial pressure,
Yeah.
right? Like
Yeah.
all of that adds to chronic stress.
Yeah. And I think in midlife, at least what's really interesting, and I've experienced this myself, is this like the whole conversation around 40, 50, depending on where you are in the perimenopause, menopause like timeline, becomes about hormones, right? It's like now that we're talking about it at least a little bit, the whole conversation is like, well, estrogen dips and it's inconsistent and it's all these things. And so we blame hormones first. And the assumption becomes this is normal. It is normal for your libido to drop off because your hormones are dropping off. And then nothing changes. And I think the truth that I really want people to walk away with from this episode is that when your nervous system is focused on managing everything around you, it stops prioritizing pleasure. Like responsibility replaces sensation, and so, of course, you're not going to want or enjoy sex or even think about it. It's going to feel like work. So, let's dig into what's actually happening in terms of the nervous system, right? So, if hormones aren't the whole story, if it's stress and responsibility and maybe average or not amazing pleasure to begin with, let's talk about what's happening in the body when desire disappears.
Okay, so the nervous system, like when desire, it's like more like when you are in that chronic stress place, you are in survival mode.
Yeah.
And so when you are in survival mode, like the nervous system is in survival mode, erotic energy just shuts down
Yeah,
because
exactly.
desire
Like
lives.
vigilant, right? You're
Yeah.
like, "Where's the monster coming from? Where's the saber-toothed tiger?" Like,
You're
that is
just
not
like,
a place you can open up and relax.
right. You're just like, I got to get to like, get me out of here. Like, get me, you're just trying to like, you're just trying to survive, right? You're trying to get to the next thing. You're trying to get it all done. And what you need for desire to really live in the in the parasympathetic nervous system is a state of deep relaxation, safety,
Yep,
presence,
yep,
pleasure.
yes.
If a woman never gets to relax, her body simply cannot open up. Like, in order for you to have quality sex, even if you have a quality lover who wants to bring you that quality sex, safety is key, because if you are in survival mode, you don't feel safe. So you can't stop to open and receive quality, abundant, delicious, juicy sex. There's no space, there's no room for it.
Yeah. Yeah, and from, like, a neurobiological standpoint, if you're into that sort of nerdy thing, like what Barbara's saying about vigilance and the parasympathetic nervous system, like, yes, when you're chronically responsible for everything, when your life has a lot of responsibility, your cortisol levels are obviously elevated, and that means that you're living from the neck up primarily, right? Which means you're losing awareness of the body. You can't, like, your nervous system literally cannot, will not prioritize pleasure. So desire only lives in relaxation and only lives in that place. And you cannot feel turned on when your body thinks, I'm responsible for the whole world right now. And what's interesting is that this whole thing gets really triggered and pushed around like 40 and after 40. And I understand why people think it's hormones because that's what's shifting. But I want to like bust that myth that it's not just hormones. Like, here's the statement I want everyone to write down: midlife isn't when desire disappears, it's when exhaustion peaks. Right?
That's
It's
a
like
good
when we hit that limit of like, oh my fucking God, I've been taking care of everyone for decades. There's no end in sight. I'm done with this shit. Right?
Yeah, well, the thing is like, okay, so what's happening during perimenopause and menopause is your hormones are shifting. There's a shift, okay? It's a shift. It's not like a end game. I think there's like this association, which is like a marketing tool of like, okay, your life is over because it's like menopause and perimenopause. But I actually have worked with women who are 60 and older who say because they prioritize their pleasure, because they've made it that important to them, that are like, I'm having better sex now than I ever did when I was younger because of the menopause. Yes, thank you. Marta is raising her hand. Yes.
High five.
Yes, yes, celebrating you. Because when you do prioritize it and you make it an intention to have the quality sex, to have yourself taken care of, you start to connect with your body. And what happens is a lot of women that I've worked with report that because there's like a lining that sheds in menopause, the sensations actually become higher. So the orgasms are even more juicy and delicious.
Mhm.
So, yeah, the hormones are shifting. Estrogen fluctuates, testosterone can decline, vaginal tissue can change, arousal may take longer. But here's the thing, hormones don't eliminate desire.
Yeah. Nor do they actually really like change your relationship with pleasure alone. I mean, they do, hormones do, but not the hormones we're thinking about that are a part of menopause, right? Hormones like oxytocin absolutely associated with it, right? Cortisol absolutely kills it. But we're estrogen and progesterone are not the hormones of desire. Let's just make that clear. They're responsible for a whole bunch of other things. They are not the hormones of desire, and they are the hormones that we're losing or that are changing in their capacity at menopause.
My God, I'm having like a huge download right now. Fuck. Like, actually, in the world we live in, and like the body, the human body, the female body, it's like so fucking amazing because, like, part of something that we do in Sensual Sisterhood is we are constantly talking about deep approval of yourself, approval of the things that you don't even like in your life. And if you could just, and I'm like seeing this now, like the hormones, the menopause, the perimenopause, actually that shift, and what, oh my God, I'm getting chills. That shift is created for us by the goddess. Thank you very much. If you could just thank it, if you could just approve of it, even if you don't like it, you don't have to like it. It's actually that thing that actually is like forces you to be like, I don't like the way sex used to be. Because if you
Yeah.
didn't have that perimenopause and menopause state, you'd
Yeah.
still be doing sex the way you used to do. You'd be bored and you just let it happen and it wouldn't be quality. And now here's the ultimate, like, this is the key piece. Instead of like buying into the conditioning that we've been sold about, perimenopause and pedopause and like life is over, now you're like done or whatever, like here's like the real takeaway, and I want women to really walk away with this, like, what if this is the next level awakening?
Yeah.
Because the shift, what I said before, it's like hormones are, they're shifting during perimenopause and menopause, and because they are, what they actually do is change the pathway to desire. So now there's an opening. So you can either make that wrong or you could fucking love it up and make it right. And that change, in that change, what's really happening when you take away the conditioning of our society is that your body is coming, it's like, it's a new level. And it's like, I need more time. I need more stimulation. I
Yeah.
need more deep emotional connection. And I need more novelty.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally agree. And also like midlife is when this pattern that has been building since you became sexually active, whenever that was in your teens, 20s, 30s, whatever it was for you, that pattern is now several decades old. And so your nervous system has gone from, when you were younger, curious, very interested, like naturally like pulled towards exploring sex as a experience that a human wants to have, to associating it with stress and responsibility and his pleasure first and obligation and all these things. And so what the nervous system, which is very intelligent and is constantly operating in the background without our conscious awareness, it basically goes, we're going to shut this down because we're not getting anything good out of it. And we need our capacity to deal with all these other responsibilities that you have. So then women show up inside the sensual sisterhood. And by the way, if this conversation is resonating with you, if you're like, I want to understand this more, I want to change this, yes, 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 please come join us inside the Sensual Sisterhood. It is a free community. There's over 800 women there from across the globe. And these are the topics we talk about. And these are the things that we teach and embody and practice together. Okay. So what we hear from women all the time inside the Sensual Sisterhood, they show up and they're like, I feel numb. I feel disconnected. I've lost my sex drive. I'm in my, 40s, 50s, 60s, whatever it is. How do I get it back? And a lot of times I think the expectation is we're going to give you sex tips. We're going to tell you to buy some lingerie. We're going to tell you to try it this way and try that position and try this lube and that toy and self-pleasure. And like some of those things do come up as part of the package, but the real truth, like it all starts getting your desire back, bringing your libido back online, teaching your nervous system that it's okay and you are safe and you can enjoy this, starts with sensation in the body. It doesn't actually start with sex. Sex is not the entry point. Would you agree with that?
Oh, 110%. Like it's like your libido, it doesn't matter about tips or lingerie or any of that stuff. Those are, I mean, I love that stuff and it's important, but you can't get there from, if you have a story about I have my libido's broken or something's wrong with me. First, what needs to happen is the repair with yourself, with your body, with, you know, allowing libido to return. Like it's there. You didn't really lose it. It's like turning, that's like what we say, turn on, like turning it on.
Yeah.
The only way you can do that is making pleasure central. You've
Yeah.
got to be intentional about your pleasure.
Yeah. Yes. This is why we became pleasure coaches,
Yeah.
really, because you and I both in our personal experience have experienced this transition. This like,
Yeah.
I don't feel enough. I just don't feel. And that feels wrong and that feels sad. It feels like I'm missing out and this life is just not whatever. And then going through the practice, and it is a practice of reconnecting with physical sensation, of learning how to slow the fuck down when we are reconnecting with physical sensation so that the nervous system can take a breath and go, okay, we're safe. There's no rush. There's no pressure. We're not trying to get anywhere. We're just trying to feel and open, allowing pleasure to be a priority, not productivity, pleasure, which is like the opposite of what our culture tells us to do, right? Everything's about what have you done for me lately? What results have you produced? What have you achieved? What have, and it's like, no, no, no. Pleasure just for pleasure's sake, noticing small desires again and creating space in daily life to have pleasure as a focal point. That's when desire starts to come back, right? When the body starts to feel safe enough to feel again, which is why I'm like, no, the first step in getting your libido back after 40 is not trying to have more sex or playing with more partners or trying new toys or new positions. Those things are all good, but that's not where it begins. It's really about remembering how to feel sensation in your body again. And the cool thing is that once you crack that door open, our women's bodies, especially pussy, is made for pleasure. Like she's receptive. Like as you said in this episode or other episodes, the clitoris has 9,000 plus nerve endings, 100% dedicated to pleasure and nothing else. Like that is an intelligent design that says to you, your body was made to feel pleasure. Please feed it that fuel. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like, here's the deal. if you're listening to this and you're like, all of the things that it sounds exhausting, like the lingerie, all of that stuff, the sex tips, all of those things, it should. I want you to know it should if you haven't started this new relationship with pleasure. Because again, like it's not going to feel exciting until you recreate your relationship with pleasure and your body. And again, until pleasure becomes central, you're intentional about it. So all you really need to do right now, and we're going to we make it easy. We simplify it, and that's why we're doing this and we're talking about it. This is a simple thing. All you got to do is be like, that's it. I'm tired of making myself wrong. I'm tired of like feeling bad about my libido. I am willing to see it a different way. I'm willing to check this out. I'm willing to see, like, this bitch is saying this can be easy and can be fun and I can be turned on. Okay, I'm going to come through and see what the sensual sisterhood is all about and come play, because you really don't have to do much. And that's literally what you'll see what starts to happen in the bedroom. Women don't lose their libido after 40. They lose their willingness to participate in sex that isn't actually pleasurable, that feels like more work, that doesn't feel connected or alive. And that's a good thing, because from that place, you can actually make real change if you're willing to take it on and come to something like the sensual sisterhood, because you don't know what you don't know.
Exactly. So well said. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So just to wrap up and land the plane on this episode, libido does not disappear because you're getting older, ladies. It's not because of your hormones. It's not because you're aging. It disappears because our lives become dominated by responsibility and stress and constant vigilance, and desire needs something different. It needs space, and it needs safety, and it needs sensation. And so if this conversation has resonated with you, if you're feeling something, come practice with us. Come practice reconnecting with your body and your desires inside the Sensual Sisterhood. The link is in the show notes. It's free. Come join us, because pleasure is not a luxury. It is the way back to yourself.